author of Say It Now. And happy to be here this Friday morning with Catherine Schoendorff. Did I do okay?
You did well. Well, the French version is Catherine Schoendorff.
Yes, I was going to ask you to say it for us so that we could actually hear the real way. Thank you
Excellent.
for being, see what a great way to start, right? Your resilience over me saying your name was already our first lesson. Roll with it, right?
Right. Absolutely true. I just love you, Sherry.
I love you. You're so awesome. So, listen, here's my first question. And first of all, thank you. Thanks for being here. I know it's almost the end of there. It is the end of the day Friday for you. Where are you?
In Germany.
Yeah. So, end of a Friday, end of the week, and here you are with us. We could probably call it happy hour if we wanted, right?
Oh, absolutely. I do even have a little coffee.
I love it. So, where I start with everyone, because as you know, we have this amazing community of coaches, right? And so, when this pandemic happened weeks and weeks and weeks ago now, I realized that we have so much wisdom within this community. And of course, you're one of the people. I just adore you. I love your heart. I love your nature is so wonderful.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
let's start with how have you been taking care of yourself? How have you stayed positive and healthy during this time?
Well, I mean, a lot of things, just turned around. So, I mean, business has come to a stop, to a halt right now. So, what I'm doing right now is that I'm using that time to be connected with brilliant minds in the coaching space. I mean, we also talking on a regular basis, but also with some economists, scientists, disruptors, innovation people, just to get my mind, I mean, spin in a positive way, because this is a time space, a space of time that we absolutely need to use, because we can redefine ourselves. We can talk, I mean, think about what the purpose of our lives, but also of our work, the impact that we want to have. So it's absolutely fabulous. I've never been so pumped up as I'm right now.
Wow.
Wow.
Isn't
It's like I would have, shoot into an adrenaline shoot into my, no, really, seriously. And yeah, I mean, I just appreciate that time. And also, for sure, I mean, it's also about caring for others. It is just to make sure, everyone we know, I know, is doing well, how we can support that, definitely. But I need, this space of creativity and just new horizons, so that I can basically, I mean, also enhance my business and my approach, talking to clients, my coaching perspective. So this is what I'm currently doing. So I'm just deep diving.
Yeah, and you know what? Thank you for the energy you're bringing. I really feel as if this is one way to be of service, which is for those of us who are trained in many ways. It doesn't just have to be certified high performance coaches, but those of us who are trained to sort of find that energy within ourselves, I think it's one of the gifts that we can give right now. Even if I like to think that even if no one is even actually stopping to listen to the words we're saying, that maybe we can lift people up by bringing the energy, which you were bringing in spades. So thank you so much.
Well, though I must say, Sherry, I also try, to, despite the energy that I'm having, also, I think it is the greatest gift that you can give to someone, just to be there for them, just to listen, to discover how you can help, or how they want to help themselves, how they want to evolve. And so I'm training myself also in a very hard way, that I don't just give the energy, but that I allow others to find themselves.
That is beautiful. Let's just pause for a second. I don't want to run past that, because that is so great. What I'm hearing you say, and tell me if I didn't get this right, but that it's like one of the big gifts we can also give is to listen, to be there, I don't think you use these words, but what I heard was also to be still and let
Yes,
people to let people ask us what, maybe what they need or how we can support them, or even just share how they're feeling. Is that
absolutely.
right?
You got it right. It's just to be in a different energy space rather than, the entrepreneurial one, which
Yes.
I'm often in, but it's another type of energy. And it's just, to be you use the right word for me at least, to be still. And to be very have open ears, and to see how, um, how we can give them empathy and compassion and love by just simply listening. And for instance, just to share with you, and I think we talked already about that I'm participating in a movement for elderly people in homes in the UK, where we can have, create, how do you say that in English? Like a partnership, and we can sing with them, we can talk, we can write letters, and just to bring them, out of their solitude. And this is so, I found this movement so beautiful that I couldn't resist. And even though I'm not as young anymore, because they're more looking for type of nieces and nephews, but I thought, then I'm an older one. And so this is what I'm trying to bring to people.
Wow, Katrine, that is so beautiful. And I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that is a really specific example
Yes.
of some of the beautiful goodness and heart that is happening right now. And it gives
Mhm.
people an example. Like, you know, I have a special place in my heart for people, for the elderly right now, especially
But oh,
because, right, it's
yes,
they're highly at risk. There's just so much else going on for them, and the loneliness is
yes,
huge.
yes,
So what you're talking about, I just want to say that, maybe we don't know of a similar program, but we could reach out to a nursing home and, can I adopt a
yes,
grandma,
yes,
right? Like, it could
absolutely.
be that simple. And I think that's beautiful. I'm inspired by this. I love to write letters to strangers. It's like it's a whole nother topic. But yeah, so I want to ask you something that um, I've been asking people all week long.
Mhm.
My dear friend Trish and I, we do a little mastermind call, and we started talking last week about how this is like, it's global, right? This is something that's happening
Right.
globally. And each person, so far, everyone that I've talked to, there's kind of like a tailor-made gift that is coming out of this. And I
Mhm.
know that's a weird word to use, but I do really think that there are gifts that we're being given. And
Mhm.
I have the feeling that you might be able to speak to that for yourself.
I think that crisis, and my background, by the way, is crisis management. So I used to, up to the recent years, to save companies, save departments, bring change in it. And I think that crisis is a unique way of building close relationship, to build trust, and to move together. It's about recreating the purpose. Would it be only, in a company? It's about creating the purpose. What they want to achieve, how they want to work with their clients, how do want to, the people within the company, how do they want to talk with each other?
Mm.
Even if you have to take some difficult decisions, or like now, where some people are very sick or even dying and disappearing, and I think that especially for them who have left us, unexpectedly now,
Yeah.
because of this crisis or coronavirus, I think we owe them that we are behaving at our best, and that we are
Oh,
really loving, and that we're really trying to make the world a better place. So I'm just seeing that, and every day, when I go out, there's still, the light outside, I mean, we have such a chance that at least here in Europe, most of the countries have beautiful weather. I mean, it's really dry. I mean, that's another topic. But I mean, at least, we can go out, we can listen to the birds, we can smile to people, even though we're wearing masks, and we can greet them. And just to make sure that the elderly people, that if everything is fine, if we can help, I mean, we owe that to the society, and especially to those who have left us.
Wow. Wow. I want to return to that in a sec, but I just want to say hi to Joni. Thank you, Joni. I love you. It's so great to see you. And so so Catherine, to recap that, so to you, what I heard is if you were going to say what the gifts for you are, so I heard things like closer community, a
Yes.
trust building happening, a connection to things that maybe we might take for granted, like the sun and the being out in the nature, and simple smiles shared with each other through our masks. Is that
Mhm.
right?
Yes, absolutely. And I must say, I'm very lucky. I do not live in a huge or large city. I don't live in a very tall building. So we do have a garden. So I mean, we're using also the time to make sure that the garden is beautiful.
Yeah.
Period. So
Yeah.
and I'm so blessed. I mean, I absolutely understand that this is. Yeah, not to make out anything of this, it would be very sad. And uh, and but but what is really important to me, and we've spoken also with some others about that, is to make sure that, especially parents from small children, that we're making sure, that they're okay, because most of the time they need to be working from their home office, and the children have behaviors which are not, the usual ones, because I mean, it can go from aggressive anger to kind of being very sensitive, because they don't understand that their social connection, their friends, that this have been taken away from them. So it's really important, I think, that how can we help, in our community, uh, parents or mothers or fathers who are raising their children, who need to stay, at home, because I mean, for them, it is really a difficult thing to do.
So tell me, that's so beautiful and so true. Do you have any suggestions for people? Like how would someone who, doesn't have young children at home, how might they reach out and support those parents?
I think that what I try to do, because I know several couples. Um, there are so many groups of yoga and meditation, and about exercises on how to calm down, how to be using your breath, to be grounded. But most of the time they can't really do it. So I mean, it's always, to remind them, yeah, you can still do it, 5 times, holding your breath, then or 4 seconds, 4 seconds, then the next one to breathe in, 4 seconds to hold your breath, 4 seconds to breathe out, and just start. And also to have patience, if they are I mean, kind of, also about, I mean, pretty impatient, or they're exhausted most of the time, is
Right.
just to be there, and accepting, if the child comes in and says, Papa, Mama, I want to show you something, or, if they're crying, I mean, it is absolutely normal. It is, we have, I mean, coaches and leaders and friends that we are all, it is absolutely crucial that we support them,
Yeah. It's
because
remind
we cannot go into their home. But I mean, I know, for instance, someone, I mean, who I don't want to cite right now officially, but who made sure that, for instance, a young mother was able to bring in her child in a room at the office, so that the mother can continue, to be working
right.
and to earn money. and still, I mean, having the child, there, because schools are closed, preschools are also closed. So I mean, people try to organize themselves. And I think we need to make sure that we can help in whatever way we can and which is allowed. So, yeah.
It's reminding me of a story I heard that I just love for its simplicity. But there was, I forget, who was a friend of mine posted somewhere that she has a sister with young kids. And of course, she can't see them and she can't help out personally. But she put together scavenger hunts for the kids because she knew that her sister was having to come up with all sorts of things to do. And so it's simple things like an outdoor one, find a dandelion, find something blue, whatever, simple, find a stone. So the kids could, and I thought that was so beautiful. She did an indoor one and an outdoor one.
That is
beautiful. Right. Like, so just the thoughtfulness of, oh my goodness, my sister's probably exhausted trying to keep her children occupied. And then to think of something that she could easily send through the mail, because I thought that was beautiful. And it's just an example of what you're talking about.
That is a terrific example, because I wasn't thinking about, for instance, myself. I'm belonging to the group of people who have to protect themselves because of pre-medical conditions. So I cannot, I have to protect myself as requested. But on the other side, I think that this is a beautiful, also like with the elderly people, adopting a grandma or grandpa, that you can send them, a little email and or a little post, mail, and just for them, to open it up and to discover things. Absolutely.
Right. And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think that what I've heard is about two mothers who have started, the snail mail, that the children have started making drawings to their friends and sending it by snail mail to them. So, it revives also certain, I mean, long forgotten things to do, which we used to do when we were small. Yes.
Remember pen pals?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we used to have that and we loved it. So it's not about only just being on social media. It's also about, the physical pleasure to have something in your hand.
And it's interesting that you're talking about this because in January, I spent a month at my mom's house where I grew up, and I found 1,200 letters, handwritten letters from people. And it was over a decade. So it was a short period of time, but a lot of letters. And it revived in me this interest in, I mean, I've always sent cards to the mail. I love the mail. I think it's a delight to receive things. But it really revived it for me. And coming into this period, I mean, little did I know that we'd be entering this period, but I more than ever have been sending things, to cheer people up, especially people who live alone, who I know, something like that can really make a difference. And I think, just like you're saying, I love what you're saying also about teaching our children how fulfilling and connecting it can be to communicate that way. There's something very different than sending an email.
Yeah, or being on Instagram or whatever chat program. I mean, you do have the immediacy on one side, but the other thing is something which is more personal, which stays with you. And I recall, I found, I think 2 or 3 years ago, the letter exchange that I had with a very good school friend of mine, and at that time we were 18, and we were reading the books together, underlining the sentences, and when we saw each other, we were comparing what from Albert Camus, so French writers, what we had, underlined, and we were completely, nuts, but we were, because I was studying somewhere else from where she was. So we were writing, novels. And it is just beautiful, when you find them again many years later. And what a gift and what a treasure.
It is. I sent a bunch of them. I had a stack like this from one of my college roommates, and I sent her a bunch of them. And it was so delightful for her because it was that sort of coming of age period right after college, and she got to see. It's very wonderful to have that documentation of who we are when we're coming into our own, especially.
Yes.
But I know we're kind of digressing, but it's fun. But here's what I want to ask you, because I know that you said you spent many years working in crisis communication. And I don't want to leave our short talk without asking you, what other tips do you want to bring into this from everything that you know, from your experience?
Let me say it like this: what surprises me, and also having been myself a former CEO of a country CEO of a large consulting firm, I'm amazed by when I hear people saying, our first priority right now is to retain clients or customers. Then, the bad news is that if you're thinking that, in a few weeks you won't exist anymore. The good news is that you can go back, and I'm talking more like business to business model, so not the retailers or the small businesses,
Right.
or restaurants, or but it is, the good news is you go back to your desk, you call up your clients, you work, and you bring in your team, and you are looking on how you can become vital and essential part of the of your client. And it is absolutely, this is a crucial time. Last week I think you were interviewing Michelle, with her innovation background.
Yeah.
This is the time from a company where you can innovate and really make sure that you're recreating the purpose of your company, that you
Wow.
can bring everyone together. And I
Wow.
mean, there's so many things. I mean, and by the way, in a few days, there is a book from a Harvard Business School professor, a lady called, her name is Rebecca Henderson, who is going to bring out her book, and it's called The World on Fire. And she brings specific examples on how you can change and reuse also that time to redefine yourself. So, see,
Wow.
I'm trying really, to bring in, the best ideas, and to catch them, and to see, okay, are mine in alignment? But this is the thing. We need even more disruption and even more creativity and innovation in all areas of life to basically to rejuvenate your business models, to change them. So retaining client is definitely is a priority, but it shouldn't be your number one priority. It is working with your clients on how you can become an essential part of their own, of them. And I think that this is something, whenever you can do it, if your financials, you can survive, you should be doing and bringing innovation and disruption in together with your people. Because as employers, employers have also an ethical responsibility, is to make sure that
Mm.
you have explored every single avenue, not only to keep your business, not to keep only, to keep yourself afloat, but
Yeah.
to make sure that,
Yeah.
the families of your employees can, survive also more or less correctly this crisis. And this is, and we have always grown from crises. So this is what I can give.
And what was happening for me when you were saying that, because I love what you're saying about how companies can address this and innovate and use creativity. But what I was also thinking, because I know that I'm going to share this with a lot of people who may not have a company, but that also, we can see it for ourselves. Like everything you were saying, like I was thinking about the reinventing of myself. How can I, how can I be a more integral part of my community and my family and the people around me? How can I reinvent the way that I communicate, or that I give, or how I listen, like we were talking about at the beginning? Like, I think that there's ways that we can see ourselves as sort of at the helm, right, of
Right.
our community, whether that's our small family, or our bigger community, our church, or whatever.
And you recall when Natasha Mogadi said the other day, she said, she's doing transformational coaching. And I think that this is really, I mean, the place that we can have as coaches when we are working in corporations or businesses is to be a sparring partner, to be there, to show that there are some other ways of engaging everyone, to make sure that everyone stands behind you. If you as a boss or a leader, you're saying something, and that you can also make them, become, as good, if not even more better than yourself, so that you can take care of some other stuff. So I think that when she used, the word transformational, I thought, well, good girl. so Natasha, I just love you.
I know, man, we have some amazing people in our community. And of course, you are one of them. And I cannot believe it, but we're down to our last couple minutes. It has gone so fast.
Yes.
Just curious, you've shared so many really great things. I feel grateful there. And I think there were some things that other people haven't touched on. And I love how that happens organically. Just as we're closing, is there anything that you just feel like from your heart that you still want to say?
No, because I was already very Frenchy and, and speaking. And no, I mean, I think that the only thing I want to say is that my heart goes out, to everyone who has lost either lost someone or is maybe, is fighting to see, if this person can survive. And I'm just sending all my energy and all my love to everyone. We have to go through that, and we'll do it together. And we need to be there. Whenever someone wants to reach out to you or to me, just feel free, because we are there to help each other out.
Catherine, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Your passion and your heart and your generosity really shines through. And I'm, on a personal note, I'm just glad to have this time with you. It was great to connect. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Happy weekend.
Good weekend.